Hello, Leon here from backintelligence.com, where we help people manage their back pain from home as well as help them fix their postures. And today we're going to have Dr. David Oliver explain to you what degenerative disc disease is. Now, I just want to clarify something, because we do have a responsibility here at Back Intelligence to make sure we bring you the best up-to-date information. And that is that we know that a lot of people that have degenerative disc disease don't have any symptoms and don't have any pain, all right? So just want to put that there up front so that you know that we're aware of that. We know what the research says. Some people will have degenerative disc disease and they'll have pain. Other people will have wear and tear degenerative disc disease. That's what it is basically. And they'll have no pain whatsoever. So we know that. This video is only intended to show you what it is, okay? So that you understand what's going on inside your body, because you cannot see your own vertebrae and your own discs. So we have a few models that Dr. Oliver is going to be showing you to show you what are those degenerative disc diseases and why in some cases they could cause pain. But please understand that we are not telling you that you have to go and do something if you have these things in your MRI, that's necessarily the cause of your pain. We now know that it's not always related to the MRI scan. What you see is not always the cause of your pain, so you want to be careful with that. This video is simply going to walk you through what it is. What is this whole wear and tear all about?
Hi everybody, Dr. Oliver coming to you from backintelligence.com, and today we're going to go over just basics on degenerative disc disease and the different things that can happen to the spine in degenerative fashion. If you haven't done it yet, I encourage you to subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can click the button below and you can get more updates and more videos as we put them out. Studies have been done, numerous studies that show that degenerative disc disease at the age of 20 is prevalent about 37% of the population. So at least a third of the people in their 20s have degenerative disc disease. In your 80s, it's up to 96%, so basically everybody. So we know these things are very common, but yes, they can lead to pain as well. So we want to know what they are, how we can maybe best avoid irritating them or causing them to progress. So we're going to look at a few models and kind of go through what we're actually seeing. So the first model we're going to look at is a model of normal, healthy vertebrae and discs. So you have two spinal segments. You have two vertebrae, the bones, the white parts right here, and in the middle, you have this tan part, that's your disc. So this shows a healthy model. The bones are nicely shaped. You have a nice, thick, plump disc and good spacing for the yellow part, which are the nerves that exit the spine there. So we like to see this. This is what we call quote unquote normal. As we see degenerative changes, this is where we're going to see things change. So what we need to think about before we think about anything is what's going on in the middle there, that disc. So the way to think about a disc is it's kind of like a jelly donut. So this is the analogy I give people. It's the outer ring is firm and harder, and inside there's a jelly-like material. So what we think about is when we compress upon a jelly donut or we compress the disc, we can actually see some bulging effect. Some of this is normal, but if you start to have wear and tear or breakdown, you can actually see bulges and herniations start to occur. And this is where the nucleus or the actual jelly-like material starts to bulge its way out. So this model is a big model, but basically this is going to demonstrate those bulging effect. So you see the jelly-like disc in the middle. As you compress down upon it, you're going to see it bulge out a bit. This is kind of a rudimentary model of it, but you'll see that bulging effect that occurs. So the bulges are things that can develop pain and lead to irritation. A couple of other models. So we went from this nice, healthy disc, and then the first kind of stage you're going to see is a decrease or a decreased height in that disc. See how it gets a little bit flatter over time? That is degenerative disc disease. When that disc actually flattens a bit, this is what we call degenerative disc disease. So it's a flattening of that disc. You may see that the hole on the side, which is called your foramen, where the nerve actually comes out, is a little bit smaller than it used to be. That can become problematic because if that hole gets smaller and the nerve that's in there starts to get irritated, this is where you can get some radicular type symptoms that go down your leg or your arm, depending on where it's found. If we turn it around a bit, you'll see this is demonstrating a slight little bulge there. So you can see that little bubble that's sticking out there in red. That would be a bulge, just like I demonstrated on the other model. So again, as you flatten down and you get a lot of compressive load, you can bulge the disc backwards or out to the side. And if it's in close enough proximity to a nerve, you can get, again, radicular symptoms, pain that goes down the leg or the arm. You can start to develop numbness, tingling, burning. You can even get weakness if it gets bad enough. So we look at these things. This one, you don't see too many bony changes yet, but if we progress on and we go to something like this, you could see a lot of extreme loss of that disc height now. You can see the bones themselves are getting a little jagged, and we get what's called osteophytes, or increased little bone growths that spur out there. And it's no longer this nice, uniform, healthy disc and bone. So we look for these changes. The bony changes, that's degenerative joint disease. So when the disc changes negatively, that's degenerative disc disease. When the bones change, it's degenerative joint disease. You're generally going to see these two come together. But again, this is a naturally occurring thing. It's part of the human condition. We all get it to some degree. The question is, how do we avoid it? How do we stop the progression of it? So we know that the most problematic position for a disc is flexion. So flexing upon a disc, taking that disc and again, kind of flexing down from the front will cause that bulging effect to occur. So flexion is most commonly done with people that sit, right? When we sit, most people round out their low back and cause that flexion moment in their spine. So they're putting a compressive load into those discs for 6, 8, 10, 12 hours a day. Over time, that's going to irritate it. So avoiding this position, getting up more frequently, using sit-stand desks, that's what we're looking for. So we want to avoid the activities that actually compress it or irritate it, thereby reducing the stress on it, thereby reducing the overall progression of the degenerative disc disease. So these degenerative disc disease and degenerative joint disease can progress into significant symptoms. Again, if you're starting to get radicular symptoms, which are basically just symptoms that extend either down your arm or down your leg, depending on where the problem is found, they can become problematic. Sometimes it's just pain, sometimes it's numbness and tingling, you can get burning pain. If you start to develop significant weakness or a sudden onset of weakness, this is a troubling sign. We don't like to see this. This would need to be evaluated so you can rule out any significant underlying issues. So besides just avoiding positions that irritate it, namely the sitting, you also want to work on your bending, right? So not bending through your low back, trying to bend through your hips is a problematic too. So you want to bend through your hip joint and not your back. So again, it's that flexion. Other than that, you want to strengthen it, right? So everyone talks about your core, but your core is those little muscles that surround your spine and stabilize and protect. The stronger your core muscles are, the less stress that can be transferred to the discs and to the joints of the spine, and hopefully reducing the overall stress can decrease the progression of these kind of problems.
All right, thank you so much for joining us today. We hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure you like it, as well as subscribe to this YouTube channel for more videos just like this. Also, research shows that you need to strengthen your core if you want to alleviate some of that low back pain. And not only that, but you need to make sure that the exercises that you perform really target those deep core muscles, and you need to make sure those exercises are safe for your spine. Now we have a free PDF that we'd love to send you with some of the most effective and safest core exercises that you can do from your home. So if you'd like to get that PDF, there's going to be a link to it somewhere here on the video or down below in the description. Just go to that page, enter your email, and we'll send you that free PDF right away.